Hello out there, everybody. It's Brian from Variable Traders. It's the weekend, Saturday, November 12th. This is, of course, the weekend video. We'll just recap what happened last week and look ahead and see what we got coming this week. We've got more earnings on deck, some big retailers like Walmart and Home Depot, and we'll look at where the markets are and where they might be going. And it was yet another crazy week, some great trading happening. So let's get down to it. So a quick review of what happened last week, just to start out. Of course, if you were trading on Thursday, that CPI number that everybody was expecting did come out, showed a slower pace of inflation, and that's really what the market was just waiting to see. It was like a coiled spring, and as soon as that number came out, man, the futures took off in the pre-market, and the market just took off, lit up when we finally got the open, and it was exactly what the bulls were all looking for. That sign that inflation was slowing, and it just ripped. I had a great trade on this. Wednesday before the CPI number came out, I made a calculated trade. I felt that there wasn't a lot of downside to being long, and there could potentially be a huge amount of upside. And that's exactly the way it played out for my trade. And I think some of the other traders in our room took that trade as well and profited nicely on that. So yeah, it was a really good trade on that Thursday and continued on Friday. Earlier in the week, of course, the FTX crypto fiasco kind of dominated headlines, with crypto getting really sold off, and a lot of headaches for people that had positions with FTX. Looks like they filed bankruptcy, so that was sort of the negative, but certainly the CPI number, Thursday's CPI number, really upset that and really took over the dominating the factor in the markets. So as a result, of course, we had like major upside in all the indexes. You can see that there, everything from 4.2 in the Dow to almost 9% on the Qs, just amazing. And of course, it was the beaten down stocks that saw the most gains. Technology, communication services were up the most. Everything was up, but energy and utilities were a bit of the laggards. Because of this, the 10 and the 2-year notes almost also dropped. So we're back down below 4% on the 10-year, kind of signaling, the bond market kind of signaling that maybe pricing in a recession, since interest rates are dropping. Interest rates dropped, so did the dollar, just like a stone, down about almost 4%, not quite, but yeah, it really took a hit as well with those dropping interest rates. And Bitcoin, as I mentioned earlier, now trading, at least at this point, trading under the 17,000 level on this FTX news, and sort of, I guess, a little bit of shaking some confidence of some of the crypto bulls, if you want to call them that. So that's where we sat last week, a real strong week overall. Yeah, and always before we go looking at some charts here, I'd like to throw up a quick ad for my book on Amazon, my newest book, Profiting as an Active Trader. It's a guide to trading tools, money management, rules, strategies, and the routines of an active stock and option trader. So it's there on Amazon. So let's get over and start looking at some of the charts here from the past week. And as always, I like to start out by looking at the treasuries, because they really are sort of driving what's going on in the markets. And you can see here on the weekly, the 2-year, we were down from the previous week, almost 7% there. That was quite an amazing drop. Most of that happened later in the week. But again, that weaker CPI number that came in helped that. And the 10-year, again, big drop, back down below 4%. We are still in an uptrend. If you want to imagine drawing a line here, we're still above this 20 moving average, 20-day weekly moving average, and we are still in an uptrend, but momentum is coming out of it. We were pretty much overbought there, so a bit of a pullback, and you can see that on the stochastics as well as the MACD pulling back there, momentum coming out of that trade for the time being. And again, this is going to probably ebb and flow with more data that comes out as we see whether there's this one number that we got on Thursday is just a blip, or if it's actual trend change. And that's really what the Fed is looking for. Obviously, they are not going to be reacting to one individual reading. They're going to be looking for a trend. They've said that numerous times. So transports, the day, you can see here, massive relief rally, big rally on Thursday. Actually, that followed a pretty significant rally anyway. We had a big pullback on Wednesday with the crypto stuff going on, but then Thursday just rocketed higher, and we continued on Friday right through this 200-day moving average. And volume was not spectacular. It wasn't bad, but not fantastic. You can see here that volume has really been dropping off on the transports on a weekly basis. We did have Veterans Day on Friday, so that might have contributed to some of the lower volume. Maybe some people were taking the day off. Bond markets were closed on Friday as but you can see here stochastics turning back up, RSI coming back up, but we are getting pretty extended. There's your line in the sand around 15,000 here, which is where we topped out before. We have had some pretty big days, probably needs a bit of a pullback or sort of a re-entrenchment of this run up that we've had. And you can see here on the Dow, the daily, just a massive run higher. The Dow has been very strong over the last couple of weeks. And you can see here on a weekly basis, just over the month, we've had really some very strong move back up into an area where we'll probably see some resistance and maybe just some chopping around. But for the time being, I would say a bottom's definitely been put in. You can see volume here, not bad on the Dow, sort of average. The Qs, we are sort of breaking out from this level. I flagged 285 last week as a level that would probably be some resistance. We broke through that. So again, some pretty massive moves here Thursday and Friday. Volume on Friday was pretty light, but again, Veterans Day, so maybe this move was still warranted, even though the volume was a little light. Momentum indicators all indicating that we are probably going to continue to go higher here with this November rally continuing and into the Santa Claus rally that everybody likes to talk about in December. So you can see here on a weekly, we are back up into an area of prior support, which may become resistance for a little while before we break higher again. SPY, again, a breakout level above this prior high, looking very good. Coming up to this 200-day moving average, this 205 level here on the SPY. And yeah, on a weekly basis, looking strong as well. And the IWM actually didn't perform quite as well. We get a pretty significant pullback here. Again, this is probably telling you we did get through the 200-day moving average. We may come back here and retest this level next week and possibly rally further from then. But all systems seem to be fairly positive, looking fairly positive for a continuation rally into the end of the year, barring any sort of unforeseen numbers that might be coming out, for example, next week with retail sales and jobless claims, etc. If we really get strong numbers there, that might dampen people's spirits. And we do have one more Fed meeting coming up in December. Bets are on now that it's only going to be a half a point rise, but we'll see on that. Here's the VIX. Again, VIX in a solid downtrend here. We are into an area where there has been some prior support here. We broke through this level here, and again, probably going to find some support here for the time being. But again, just sort of VIX looking very, how do you say it, unfearful. There's very little fear in the market that we're going to drop at this point. Nobody reaching for protection. Here's the dollar. The dollar just got slammed Thursday and Friday with that lower than expected CPI number, and you can see the dollar on the week just down massive, almost 4% move. And Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin just getting whacked here. You could see it looked like it was going to start to break out. We were making a series of sort of higher lows here as it sort of I was almost tempted to look at taking a long here. I'm certainly glad I didn't. That was a That was a big drop on that news that you just probably a lot of Bitcoin people didn't see coming there. So pretty ugly looking chart there. And probably people are warning there's probably more shoes to drop here. They did file for bankruptcy on Friday, and there could be some counterparty risk, more people into this FTX. Then we'll see when the empty the pool, as they say. We'll see who's not wearing any swimming suit. So anyway, let's get on to looking at some charts for next week. Start out with Apple, always a stalwart here, and again, this 155 level, which is where we stalled at before. Probably that's a good target to look at if you're thinking Apple might continue to move higher. It has moved, it did move significantly since Wednesday's close. You can see here we were down around 135, and now we're up at almost 15 bucks on Apple. That's an amazing move, like 10% almost in 3 days. Just an amazing move on some of these stocks here. So watching for that 155 could be a area where there'll be some resistance. Disney looks, really bad earnings. Earnings not really well received by the market, but really sold off. Then Thursday we had the number, and then Friday we just started to rip higher here. And this looks like an area, this sort of anywhere between 98 and 100, it would be a gap fill on Disney. I always look to fill this gap here, so maybe there's an opportunity to trade Disney up to about $100, but that probably would be an area where you'd see some resistance. Gold really broke out. It broke out Wednesday actually, with the with the downfall of the crypto, and and then it pulled back a little on Wednesday, but then rocketed higher Thursday and Friday with the rest of the market. But looking toppy here, I expect gold will pull back here because we are quite extended. That Friday move was on a really light volume, so I suspect we're going to pull back and retest this 27 level. But gold may, if it can hold there, we may get a ABCD pattern higher on GDX. Any way you want to play it, GDX, GDXJ for the junior miners, Nugget if you really want beta. But watching that one. LABU, still watching that. This $8 level, couldn't hold above it. So not an entry, but it does look like it wants to break out here. Volume is pretty good on LABU, watching for that break of 8 and hold above it for the close. TNA, this is the way I played this market rally on Wednesday when we were down so much. I bought some calls up here and some 38 calls, and I just kind of felt like if we were going to get a lighter than expected inflation number, the market was just ready to go. They were at the starting gate. They were ready to do the full throttle launch on this thing. And of course, we got that really nice move on the small caps, which is the way I played that. You could have played it with just about any stock or index would have worked on that. But this was a beta, so I got triple my pleasure here. So yeah, nice move on this, and congrats to people that decided to take that trade with me. I don't advise anybody to take any trades I'm taking, but I know a few people looked at that and decided on their own to take that trade as well. So awesome. And Tesla. I don't know what's going on with Tesla, or what's going to happen with Tesla, I should say, but we did lose this 200 level. And Elon's spending an awful lot of time and effort trying to figure out what's going on with Twitter and fix it. I think he's got a real uphill battle. This $7 or $8 registration thing that he did, I guess a whole bunch of people just jumped in and started setting up fake accounts in company names and fake accounts and famous people names, and just the world is full of scammers, basically. It's unfortunate, and that's just the way it is. And that's why I think these social media companies are just, super challenged, because you're going to have it attracts a lot of good people, but it attracts the worst of the worst people as well. I don't know how he's going to step in and fix that, but he is such a creative individual. We'll see what he does. But in the meantime, I hope Tesla doesn't suffer too much, but it's certainly Some people feel that Tesla's going a lot lower. Certainly we had some nice rally days um, on Thursday and Friday. Friday, big rally, big move off the bottom up to the top again. I really don't see a lot of upside for Tesla at this point. Um, but it's hard to short the stock as well. It's better as a day trade. Uranium breaking out here. I'm still holding some, and I'm just hoping it does go higher. We did stall out at the 200-day, as you saw there. Oil, I'm looking at oil. Oil's sort of chopping in a range, but if you look at XLE, the energy sector, which is playing all the integrateds like Exxon and Chevron, it still seems to be performing quite well. But I'm wondering if if oil continues to weaken up a bit here, these stocks could easily start to suffer as well. So again, this could be a double top pattern. If if you were thinking about shorting it, there's this sort of 94 level would be where you were being proved wrong. But again, energy for the long run, probably a good trade. Maybe in the short term, we're a little bit toppy here. So that's it, everyone. So let's wrap things up. We'll put a bow on it here. What we're looking ahead at November 14th. You can see here I've got the levels we're at right now with all the indexes, sort of what I see as support and resistance levels. And for economic events, we do have some stuff coming up. We've got PPI number on Tuesday. We've got a lot of retail sales numbers coming out Wednesday, so we'll be looking for some weakening in those retail sales, and that will give further confidence to the Fed maybe that they're taking some demand out of the marketplace. Thursday, of course, we've got jobless claims. We do have some housing data as well, so people are watching that for further sort of verification that maybe things are slowing down a bit. As far as earnings go, we've got Tyson and Sundial, pot grower on the Monday. As I mentioned earlier, we do have a lot of retailers coming up this week. We've got Walmart, Home Depot. We've got auto parts there. Wednesday, we've got Target, Lowe's, TJ Maxx, and then NVIDIA and Cisco. This will be interesting after the close on Wednesday to see how NVIDIA performs. And then we've got a Chinese stock here Thursday. More retailers here Thursday as well. Palo Alto, few more tech companies, Applied Materials, a few more retailers, and then another Chinese stock, JD, Foot Locker, and again, more retailers. So a big retailer week, and scattered in amongst some tech and some Chinese stocks. So should be an interesting week. Yet another one, and so we'll see how things play out. And so that's it, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, what's left of it. And I do hope you enjoy our pre-market show. We are live on YouTube. It does start at 8 o'clock on Monday morning, doing sort of a pre-market, engineering the markets with Jared, and then, of course, taking us into the pre-market show, and then our members, of course, trading with us at 9:30 at the open. So that's it. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, as I said, and take care. Hopefully we'll see you Monday morning. Bye for now.